So we're just gonna try to go 1x like this. And hopefully we are still a little bit behind. Being completely live, otherwise the players are a little bit more advanced compared to the time of the game. At the very least, the webcams are a little bit further ahead compared to the game. Regardless though, game number 1 is here. So welcome you guys everyone. Mr. Yo versus Villese. We see that Mr. Yo is already gonna get a villager down here. Well done. He forced the lumber camp deletion from Villese, but he does end up getting away with a villager kill anyway, and that's gonna be first blood. What a great opening for Mr. Yo. Villese instead, he's got his own counter rates coming up over here. He's going to get a villager. He's going to try for sure, but the TC's over there, so he can't really do it. There's a spearman over here in the south. There's a spearman over here next to the TC from Mr. Yo to defend himself with as well, and it seems like he's going to get away with it. So keep in mind, Mr. Yo's scouts are stronger. They do have forging already available for free because of the civilization bonus. Meanwhile, Villese, he needs to pay for forging if he wants to catch up, and so far he has not done it. So these scouts are just standard scouts, and it's going to require a little bit more effort for him to find some villagers. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo has done a really good job keeping his scouts away for the most part from Vilese's defensive units. So he's gotten a villager kill, and so far he's lost 1 scout, but of course it's gonna be worth it, especially as the players are going so heavily into extra military units. Alright, we might see a villager go down over here finally from Mr. Yo, and yes sir, 1-1 KD. Villese walks away from here. Tried to get some damage down the south, but then ended up losing one of the scouts. So in the end, we're gonna see 6 scouts for Mr. Yo still left. 3 forward, 4 forward. And on the other hand, we'll see that Villese, well, Vilese's got about 6 scouts left himself as well. He's got many of those forwards, so let's take a look at this. Fantastic. Up until this point, KD favors Mr. Yo by quite a bit though. 6-3, 2-1 KD ratio. He didn't manage to find 2 villagers so far, so it's 2-1 equal KD. The big engagement could potentially happen over here, although Mr. Yo's gotta be careful because of Vilese's spearman over there. And we'll see another villager go down from Mr. Yo. Thus, Villese equalizes the KD once again, 6-6. Equal KD 2-2. Extremely even start of the game so far between Mr. Yo and Villese. Bloodlines on the way now for the red player, and Villese on the other hand does not get access to bloodlines. He does get franks over here, so he does get extra HP for free. But once bloodline finishes researching from Mr. Yo, his scouts are going to be significantly stronger in terms of HP as well. In addition, of course, to having forging already. Completely action-packed game number 1 for the second set of the day. Here we go. Beautiful. 1 extra villager goes down from Villese over there. The spearmen are going down though! And we might see more villagers go down over here as well. Mr. Yo, he could have tried to micro the villagers down, but he decided instead to just play it safe and stay away from the TC. But he does manage to find yet another villager from Villese so far. 4-2 equal KD, favoring Mr. Yo, going up to 2-1 equal KD ratio once again. Vilese's own scouts forward cannot really do too much just yet. He did manage to scrap enough resources to go up to the castle age, but Mr. Yo is gonna follow suit not too long after. Yeah, and Villese is not really paying attention over here. He was paying attention up in the north instead, where Mr. Yo is dropping a tower. This is a fantastic position as well. With the tower over here, the red player will be able to push all the villagers away from Villese. And then, yeah, Villese is gonna have to make a play probably for, yeah, for wood on the back. This is very unfortunate because on Atacama, most of the wood's going to be at the center. Here we are. Big engagement coming up at the center. Another villager goes down from Villese. And everything's being thrown at this. Mr. Yo still has 2 scouts. And while the tower comes up from Villese over here, try and protect the only wood he's got access to at the center still. Mr. Yo does end up getting away with all the damage he's done so far, without being punished for it, for the most part. Overall KD is pretty similar, and it's actually a little bit higher for Villese, but the units he's killed versus the units he's lost reveals a different picture, of course, as Mr. Yo is looking much stronger in that regard. He's been getting villagers for the most part, and he's been losing spearmen, he's been losing scouts. Now he's gonna get to the castle age very soon, and Villese already has a stable up, and he's gonna start pumping knights. He's got 2 knights already out. Let's see if Mr. Yo can get the quick walls up over here. He's going for it, and he's going to get away with it. So Mr. Yo, he does have 2 stables to work with. He's got a monastery on the way now as well. Should be pretty good. And it seems like he's going to get away with this for the most part. Fantastic. This is overall pretty good. Villese does end up kind of stabilizing the situation at the center over there, and he does manage to bring the knights into Mr. Yo's base. Now he cannot really do too much, just putting pressure up over there. He does find 1 extra villager, so it's going to be 5 to 4 EKD so far, but that's about it. So what I would like to see though would be probably the red player coming up over here and going for another tower, very similar to what we saw for the first tower. Obviously he cannot really go for the tower exactly here because there's a defensive tower already from Villese, but if he got the tower up over here, for instance, he should be able to push Villese away from here for good. Here we go. 2 villagers going down, 3 villagers going down already from Mr. Yo. Villese does get some good damage done over here, although the conversion's coming up from Mr. Yo. It seems like Villese will walk away. He does run away successfully. Snipes the vills, walks away. Up in the north, we see a little bit of pressure still coming in from Mr. Yo. He's got the 1 knight over here, but he does get converted, so Villese is getting a great castle age so far. Second TC is coming up, and Mr. Yo is not going for it at all. So he defended himself really well. Nice defense for Villese so far, and while the game was a little bit rough for him at the very beginning, he did manage to come back with a force. He's got a stronger eco KD so far with 7 to 5. The overall KD is pretty even, but of course the higher eco KD means that Villese has been getting the best trades from both these guys for the most part. Seems like Mr. Yo is healing up the army. It's fine. Beautiful, there we go. All the pikemen going down, the conversions over here are not really connecting from Mr. Yo. He's gotten extremely unlucky this game with conversion times. He's not been able to get any conversions himself, and it seems like he will get 2 over here finally, but he's done so many mobs. I think these might have been the only conversions that Mr. Yo has gotten so far. You know what? He ends up losing most of the monks anyway. A lot of losses over here in terms of economy too, with villages going down around the gold, around the farms too. He doesn't find himself at a very nice eco KD so far with 14 to 5 kills to death ratio. And now he's gonna start ramping the pressure up. He's got a Manuel coming in. He's got monks on the way as well to keep on converting more and more knights. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo still cannot make it work. Second TC, third TC on the way actually for Villese. Third TC on the way for Mr. Yo down the south as well. At this point in time though, Villese has managed to put himself ahead in terms of villagers and military. While Mr. Yo has been struggling now. The longer the game goes, the more interesting it gets. Mr. Yo playing with Magias will get, first off, better than fully upgraded cavalry archers, which are great. And Franks do not really have all the upgrades for range units in the Imperial Age, so you cannot really go for Bracer, for instance. You cannot really go for Ring Archer armor, and the skirmishers are not the best. So we have better than fully upgraded cavalry archers versus civilization without properly upgradable skirmishers. But Villese does have the highest HP paladin in the game with Franks. So we'll see what we get. Mr. Yo does get fully upgraded paladin himself. They're not going to be quite as good as the Frankish paladin, but it's another option for the red player. Meanwhile, Villese, besides knights, is going to have a halberdier. That's about it for the most part. The monks are kind of like luster for Franks, and yeah, siege is alright, I guess, but probably not something we're going to see a whole lot of use around both these civilizations who are so strong with their cavalry units. One conversion coming up over there for Mr. Yo still, though he will end up losing the TC. The pressure from Villese has been too strong. The villagers pop out over here once again. Villese will be ready with all these knights at hand to collect the villagers. He'll end up getting even more. So overall eco KD for Villese, 24 to 10 over 2 to 1 against Mr. Yo, very close to 5-2 as well, and he's gotten away with it. He's gonna keep on putting pressure as well very soon. Potentially even the tower is going down, and that's going to leave this TC potentially exposed as well, so we'll see. Chamber and armors here for Mr. Yo. There's an upgrade that I thought he might have gone for earlier. He's only now gone for it. He already had Iron Casting at the very least, so his knights were stronger in that regard. But now with Chain Bar and armor, that's going to be even more so the case, especially as Villese has not gone for +2/+2 defense or +2 attack. So Mr. Yo's knights are stronger. The question is, can he get enough units to actually take advantage of it? Because Villese is gonna be so much stronger, it shouldn't be too difficult for the Bull player to basically deny Mr. Yo's potential for military himself. Castle on the way for both of these guys. He's gonna make the transition to cavalry archers. I would think so as well, yes. But it's gonna be pretty difficult, of course. Frank's got an incredible economy. Villese's villager count right now is so much higher as well, which means most likely we'll see the Bull player go up to the Imperial Age. However, one thing that Mr. Yo's got going for him is at the very least he was able to get the castle up over here, so well, we will get a castle battle. Villese is taking a lot of villager losses over here trying to get a castle up, and it's still only at 85%, so that's a lot of villagers going down, and you know what? You know what? Mr. Yo is denying the castle. No way! I thought Villese got this one up for sure. But Mr. Yo denies it. He gets the knight up in the north, gets a few extra villagers down. At the very least, delays it in any case. He's not going to deny this one until the foundation gets destroyed. And Villese, well, Villese's got a raid going on the left-hand side that Mr. Yo has not realized about. So that's a lot of villagers going down over here from the red player, and Villese is going to realize about a villager still left for grass over there, so he's going to collect everything, and then his own castle over here is just going to stay half built. Well, almost 100% built, but not quite. Still a 19 worker lead for Villese is just remarkable, and it's going to be made possible because of all the raids on the left-hand side that Mr. Yo only now realized about. So it's a little bit of an unfortunate position for both these guys. And check this out though, Mr. Yo uses the monk over there to keep on delaying this castle even further. And it doesn't seem like Villese gonna commit to the castle anymore. So you're just going for sanctity. Mayors do not get the best monks, but I guess they are going to be better compared to Villese anyway. He's not really going too heavily into monks though, so I'm not too convinced about this play from Mr. Yo. Gets pushed away from the Wololo on the right hand side. That's the one he was collecting from at the center. While Villese, on the other hand, back home, he does have extra wood over here right next to the TC. So the wood situation is looking a little bit better for Villese. We have a lot of knights over here from Villese, from Mr. Yo. The Juggernaut monk tips right here. Yeah. The raid oh, from Villese! He's destroyed Mr. Yo! 46 villager count for Mr. Yo. As the knights keep on roaming around, Villese has gotten so much damage over here, and the reaction times from Mr. Yo have not been the best. On the left hand side, he already got clapped earlier. He did end up protecting some of the villagers down the south over here, but he ended up losing so many others, and yeah, now Villese, he's got almost twice the population, and the game keeps on going like this. He might actually get twice the population compared to Mr. Yo, while the game started very, very good for the red player. Villese was able to bring this one back, and yeah, he still cannot get the castle up over here, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be enough for Mr. Yo to get a lead whatsoever. Yeah, you know what? Villese deletes the castle. It doesn't matter. He's going to go for the counter castle over here instead. This time around, he might actually be able to get away with it, but I guess we're going to find out. This is coming up a little bit faster from Mr. Yo though, and Villese will get this castle up this time around, but he is taking a few losses. Not enough that Mr. Yo will compensate for the huge villager deficiency, especially as he keeps on getting raided by Villese everywhere. But definitely a step in the right direction from the red player. Now, what do we get? Nobody's going for petards. Nobody's going for, well, much of anything. There is one ram coming in though from Villese on the right hand side. Or at the very least, at the center over here, the right, to the right of the castles. And Mr. Yo does not really have any siege to speak of. Yeah, Mr. Yo's economy is pretty lackluster right now compared to Villese's. Anyway, is not good. 3 extra villagers and Villese gets twice the eco count compared to Mr. Yo. The extra military units, he gets twice the military count compared to Mr. Yo. He's gonna keep on roaming around in hopes of finding something, the red player. Does manage to get some villages at the center here. Yeah, but once again, it's just a drop in the bucket. Well, Villese does get twice the villager count compared to Mr. Yo. We're extremely close to it. 151 workers for Villese and Mr. Yo respectively. Yeah, there we go. 102 for Villese. He's got chain bar the number finally coming up. These are upgrades that I was expecting the players to go for pretty much as soon as they got to the castle age, and now Villese is going for +2/+2. well into the castle age, but he's already got a significant lead, so I guess it didn't really matter that he didn't really have it before, because the numbers were looking better for him anyway. And big engagement taking place at the back of Mr. Yo's base. Seems like it's gonna go in favor of Villese. Or perhaps Mr. Yo will be able to clutch it up. After all, the defender's advantage should allow for Mr. Yo to get a better trade over here. In the end, and Villese does bring a few extra units, but he does end up getting pushed away once again. Mr. Yo's extra TC comes up on the right hand side. And Villese? Well, Villese is getting very close to having enough food to click up to the Imperial Age, and we have to wait for him to get enough gold to click out to the next one, to the Imperial Age. Here we go. The raid attempt from Mr. Yo is falling short once again. On the left hand side, Villese does end up getting another villager over here and a few more over here, and just every time the raids from Villese have been so much better. Well, this is the GG coming in from Mr. Yo. As Villese cannot keep on, as Villese is just completely dominating over here, Mr. Yo cannot keep on going anymore, so he does drop the GG over here. And we'll take a look at the achievements really quickly over here before jumping into the next one. And yeah, it seems like the video feed is kind of delayed quite a bit still. Anyway, we'll see if that hopefully improves. Very nice KD for Villese for the most part. We'll see for economy, a stronger economy for Villese as well, collecting about 10,000 extra resources, a little bit more than 10,000 extra resources, about 33% stronger economy compared to Mr. Yo, and it was not particularly close in that regard. Worker count, particularly speaking, was significantly higher for Villese throughout the game, but even more so towards the end of the game. So let's go back. Next game is gonna take place in Arabia. So far, the track record for Arabia games on Empire Wars, I assume? Or is that just going to be for Arabia altogether? Any version of Arabia. Anyway, it's 64% in favor of Villese, 35% for Mr. Yo. What civilizations do we have for the next one? It's gonna be Mayans for Villese. Alright, we have Hindustanis for Mr. Yo. The game has already begun, so we're going to jump into it right away, and hopefully we'll have the webcam feed as well. Yeah, there we go. So game number 2 over here, Villese 1, Mr. Yo nil. Game number 2 is gonna take place in Arabia, Mr. Yo's home map. It was the second home map for Mr. Yo, and we have Hindustanis versus Mayans. Yeah, hopefully everything looks alright right now. I think the webcams are going to be a little bit clearer looking because of the switch back to 1080p. We're going to start game number 2 quite strong, as Mr. Yo does find Villese's scout over here, and he will end up getting the eagle. Yes, in the end, well done. And his scout is left with a good amount of HP still. So Mayans versus Hindustanis. We saw this exact matchup before, earlier today of course, with Elite Eagle Warriors versus Gulen Warriors. In the end, we saw the Mayans come out on top. Actually, was it the Mayans coming out on top? I think it was the Mayans coming out on top, right? No. It was the Hindustanis coming out on top. Sorry, I'm thinking of something else. I was thinking of a different game from the same series. So Hindustanis came out on top on this one, on that one, on this one. It's not quite clear what the result is going to be, but we have a very strong start over here for Mr. Yo once again. He does open up with scouts, and he's already gotten one scout down from Villese, the Eagle Scout, and now he's trying to find some villagers. Good quick walls. Good quick walls from Villese. Well done. Mr. Yo cannot really do any damage over here. So far it's been 1-1 KD. The walls coming in from Mr. Yo are very interesting though. As opposed to going to the walls, for the walls towards the edge of the map, he's going just for the walls towards the TC. Although in the end, eventually, he should be able, at the very least, he shouldn't really struggle to get the walls here, from here to here, potentially, and then maybe even from here to here, right? Towards the edge of the map. Up in the north. Scouts are still roaming around from Mr. Yo. He's gonna try to come in. I think Villese is completely walled off. It's open over there though, but Mr. Yo cannot come in. There's just too many spearmen over there. So Villese's defended himself really well. And Mr. Yo is potentially exposed over here still. He's got some villagers collecting some food over here and some skirmishers protecting the villagers. While Villese, he does not have enough units over here to really try and force an engagement over there, or at the very least clean up the units from Mr. Yo. And it seems that game stabilizes. Now it's just going to be a play for the castle edge from both players. Now they're getting very close. Mr. Yo might be the first one to click up though. He seems to be the closest right now to it.
Shot it. Babish. Shot it.
Let's take a look.
Babish.
Very nice pressure from Villese. He's got significantly more units than Mr. Yo can defend against at the time. Oh, and Mr. Yo rushing the market with so many villagers over here to try and balance his economy to go up to the castle edge. This is not a good performance from Mr. Yo. What is going on today? Going for a market with north of 10 villages over there just to balance his economy to go up to the castle edge and leaving the villagers idle for so long. He's been struggling to defend against Villese, and Villese's performance has been really, really good so far. So Mr. Yo cannot really slip during these games because Villese is going to punish absolutely every mistake Mr. Yo makes. Down the south, we'll see the archers coming in from Villese. That's going to be a villager going down. Yes, sir. Villese turns around and walks away after getting the kill, as there are some skirmishes over here, but because he's got a substantial lead to the castle edge, we're gonna see this turn into crossbows, and potentially that'll be enough for him to clean out the skirmishes and keep on putting pressure as well. So Villese has to be playing on Eagles. How will Yo respond? Well, last time around Gulan Warriors worked, but I don't think it was necessarily because the unit was particularly strong, but it was because of the position that Hindustan's player found himself in when going for Gulan, so he was able to go for a good amount of units. I think it's going to be a similar situation over here, where if Mr. Yo finds himself in a good spot, then he can offset for the fact that Eagles are stronger. Otherwise, it's just going to be extremely difficult for him to do much of anything, so yeah, it's not a good position. It's not the best matchup for Mr. Yo, but if there's a player you're expecting to be able to hold on against pressure and potentially get to a good stage in the later stages of the game, well, that certainly is going to be Mr. Yo, or at the very least one of the players you're expecting to be able to do that. Defensive castle on the left-hand side, Mr. Yo will be able to start going for Gulam pretty early on, while Villese, he already has 2 barracks. And he's gonna start getting the Eagle Warriors out, or at the very least Eagle Scouts, and very soon the Eagle Warrior upgrade. He does have a second TC on the way though, while Mr. Yo does not. So this is very similar to what we saw before, where Mr. Yo does not seem to be going for economy over here, and he might make a switch to economy at a later stage, but if he goes for economy after Villese has already gotten ahead, then Mr. Yo is just gonna be playing catch up. So getting himself in a good position in later stages of the game is going to require better decision making than this, I think. Skirmisher still with only fuel H upgrades, not even Padded Archer armor from Mr. Yo, so it shouldn't be too difficult for Villese to take care of this, or at the very least keep on putting pressure. And there's finally a second TC on the way from Mr. Yo. He's got the Golem Warriors coming in. Well, this scale mail armor, but will be enough for him to clean up the Crossos anyway. The RTC is coming up right now for Villese as well. And it's kind of the similar situation to what we saw in game number 1, where Villese is already starting to pull ahead in worker and military count pretty early into the game. This time around, unlike game number 1 though, he did not begin on the back foot. He's actually the only player who's managed to get some eco kills over here with a 2 Neo Eco KD. Here we go. Good defense from Mr. Yo. This is just the first step though. He's got 2 TCs, while Vilese's got 3 TCs, so it's unlikely Mr. Yo will be able to catch up in worker count. At the very least, if Villese focuses on producing the villagers, he should be able to keep on building on his lead. So now Mr. Yo is going for a 3rd TC, and that's going to allow him to keep up with villager production, but still not catch up, and Villese should be able to retain a 6 to 10 and villager lead for the most part, which is just going to bring in so many extra resources compared to what Mr. Yo's got available. Red player's gotta get so many raids going so well for him in order to catch up over here. Or probably just one good raid that he gets away with might be enough for him to catch up. For the time being though, it's going to be difficult, especially because the military count is so low for him compared to Vilese's. Also, if this is a Spanish language thing or something, I've noted that you had Warrior to both Gulam and Zebero. Ah, yeah, that is true. No, it's not related to Spanish, I think. That's probably just the way that I refer to the unit. Okay, so here comes the Gulam. He will end up getting 1, 2, 3 villagers so far. There's still a lot of damage that Mr. Yo's got to deal over here just to catch up. There we are. Yeah, they are words. I'm not really sure. I think I saw it in the game at some point. Maybe I saw it in Spanish and then I started using it in English, but I never really thought of it. True. Yeah, and you know what? Villese holds on over here really well. He holds on over here really well. Mr. Yo's Gulam on the right hand side are not sufficient, so he's going for a 2nd castle to double his production. Villese on the other hand, obviously playing with Mayans, will be able to produce from the barracks. He's going to be able to produce eagles from the barracks, and any American civilization is going to be able to. But he's got just 2 barracks over here, so with the 2nd castle, Mr. Yo might be able to keep up with military production. Here we are. TC on the way for Mr. Yo, at the very least. He was trying to go for it, now he ends up going for the mining camp over here instead. But you know what, he's done a good job between the raids, the 5 villagers he was able to get from Villese, and the fact that he was able to keep the villagers producing at all times. Well, if you take a look at Villese, he's not really producing from all 3 TCs at all times. Mr. Yo was able to catch up for the most part, only 2 fewer villagers compared to what Villese's got. In the north, Mysterious coming forward. Down the south, Mysterious coming forward with villagers. I think it's just probably just gonna start collecting some resources. I don't think this is necessarily for a fort castle or anything. And both players on their way to the Imperial Age as well, so very soon we'll see a very similar situation to what we had in the previous series with Imperial Age Hindustanis versus Imperial Age Mayans. Now Villese, he's got only now the castle coming up though. Mysterio does not have enough warriors over here to come around and deny the castle, so it seems like Villese is going to get away with this. This is extremely important so that he can get El Dorado for Eagles as well, which will make them so much stronger. And Mysterio is trying to break through over here. Doesn't seem like he'll be able to come in. The quick walls from Villese are coming in just in time, and he'll stay safe for the time being. Meanwhile, Mysterio's push over here cannot really achieve much of anything, so he's probably better off trying to go around and really trying to find an opening on the left-hand side instead, which is already open actually. Behind the castle over here, it's open, and over here we have only palisades. And actually, I think it might be over-chopped here. It's not, but it's going to be very soon. I don't think I've ever seen before a relic stuck in an archer range though. What is this? What? Ah, it's probably just a no. It cannot be the generation. I have no idea. So Imperial Age is gonna be here from both players at about the same time. There's only a 5-second lead for Mysterio. And yes, this is going to turn into a trap where he's gonna go for El Dorado and go for trebuchets over here at the same time. If he wants to go for double trap production, he's gonna have to delay it. Fortunately, he's not in a position where he needs to go for it right away. He can delay the upgrade a little bit and just try to prioritize getting the castles from Mr. Yo down, who's going to start going for Trevsons a little bit earlier. But yeah, Dorado's gonna have to wait. And also, Villese is not really going for Eagle Warriors though. He's just going for Pulm Archers, so this is a departure from what we have seen in this matchup in the past. The thing about Pulm Archers is Archer units are not the best at dealing damage to the Golem Warriors. And Mr. Yo, he does have Elite Golem that he just finished researching. But yeah, despite the fact that Villese's units are not the strongest against what Mr. Yo has, at the very least he's got the mobility to go around and try to get the raids going, potentially even defend against the Golem. The only problem is that it's going to be very micro-intensive for him to defend effectively over here without taking losses. But the monks help, and he does end up getting a few conversions over here. One conversion, rather. I think actually more than one. Yeah, he ends up getting a few conversions over there and pushing Mr. Yo away. Let's take a look at the right-hand side. The Trevor over here. It seems like Mr. Yo, he's getting all the Golem over here. Manages to get the Trebuchet down from Villese. He's got 2 Trevs to work with himself. No Trevs from Villese anymore. The castle's getting completely surrounded. And without Eagle Warriors, just Pulm Archers to defend himself with, Villese won't be able to free his castle from the Golems, so that castle's going down, and Mr. Yo is getting a very, very good game over here in the Imperial Age, already getting ahead in population for the first time in a while against Villese, and the castle crumbles. Extra castle on the way for Villese on the left-hand side, but he's already lost a hold of the right-hand side one. Extra castle down the south from Mr. Yo. This increases his Golem production potential by 50%, going up to 3 castles from 2. While Villese, if Villese was banking just on Pulm Archers, going down to 2 castles, of course, is going to hurt. For a moment over there, he was down to only 1 castle. But Mr. Yo still cannot go after the next ones. He's gotta wait. More Golems on the way for him. He's got 9 queued up. Villese just finished researching chemistry. Wow. Wow. He calls it GG. I think probably the moment Mr. Yo breaks through on the back, I think that's probably it. Yeah, we see the house go down over here, and basically that's the moment Villese calls it GG. But it was a very precarious position for the blue player regardless. That's going to be 1-2-1 as Mr. Yo equalizes the match over here. Let's go and take a look at the achievements before hopping back out and waiting for game number 3. Nice KD, Mr. Yo, better than 2-1. Getting very, very close to 73, and for economy, a stronger economy for Mr. Yo, but just by a very small amount. Society, pretty similar as well. Very, very close game overall. Yeah, Villese definitely could have kept on going, but it was not a good position for him for sure, and it's understandable he calls a GG now. We're going to see who gets the lead in the series once again in game number 3. That one is going to take place on whichever home map Villese decides to use. Alright, the save is coming up. It's going to be Lithuanians for Mr. Yo. How about Villese? Guess we'll find out. Let's take a look at his civilization. He's got Mamelukes. So, let's go. And there we are. Tiebreaker over here to see who moves on. At the very least, who gets the lead in the series once again. We'll still have 2 more sets to go for after this one, keep in mind. MBL versus Hera and the Viper versus Leary. So far, Mr. Yo is forward, trying to put some pressure with the scout. He cannot really do too much. We take a look at Villese. He's got his own scout forward as well, trying to find some damage, but he cannot really do much of anything either, so we'll see Mr. Yo potentially target a villager over here. Not quite. The group over there is too nice from Mr. Yo, from Villese over here for Mr. Yo to be able to do much of anything. So he will go after the villagers over here, which are kind of isolated towards the south of the mill, but it's not enough damage for Mr. Yo. Extra scout coming over the left-hand side, so it's a scout opening for Mr. Yo and Villese. Vilese's got archers on the way, so he's gonna play defensive for the time being, but once he gets enough units, he could be able to go forward and start doing some good damage with the archers, as the walls are not going to be enough, and spearmen, of course, not going to do anything. So Mr. Yo knows already of the archer range. He's probably going to go for an archer range himself to go for some defensive skirmishers. Yeah. The archer range is on the way already for Mr. Yo. I see a villager going down though. Villese finds an exposed villager over here once again. Oh, that was so close. I'm very sure he would have been able to get the villager down over there if he had tried. But in the end, yeah, it seems like it's going to be Villese to lose a villager over here to Mr. Yo Scout. And that's not going to be the first one. It's not going to be the last one, sorry. It does end up losing a second villager. That's going to be a third villager going down. And once again, for the second time of the series, Mr. Yo's start in the game is fantastic. Can he keep up better compared to last time around, though? That's the question. Villese is already on his way to the castle age. If Mr. Yo isn't able to keep on doing damage over here, it might not be enough for him to get a hit at all. It's got about 4 extra workers, but yeah, Villese will be the first one to get access to a second TC, for instance. And let's take a look. It seems like we might see the village go down over there. Not quite, but Mr. Yo is gonna keep on trying, and we'll keep an eye on the scout to see what he does. Don't really think we have too much over here left, though, for Mr. Yo, do we? To pursue. I mean, I guess he can go after the villagers. Just going to take 3 hits. Not too bad. Alright. Yeah. Mr. Yo runs away with the scout. Oh, at the last second. It goes down to the TC. That's very unfortunate for Mr. Yo. 2 stables coming in for Villese, though, and he'll be able to start pumping knights in a moment. He's 50 seconds away from the castle age. While Mr. Yo, he's got the castle age on the way. Here we go. Monastery comes out for Villese. Nice pick over here from Villese though, gets one villager. Regardless, despite the fact that Villese gets to the castle age faster, he does not go for any extra TCs, he does not have the stone to go for it. Utilize the market to go up significantly faster compared to Mr. Yo, so cannot really go for it anymore. Mr. Yo, he's got still 4 extra workers and he's gonna be in the castle age in about 20 seconds, so he'll still be about 3 workers ahead for sure. There we go, Castle H. Mr. Yo is here. Good defense for the red player as well. He's got Zone Knights coming out right now with double stable production. No extra TCs for Mr. Yo just yet, although he will have the resources to go for one very soon. It's interesting to see that Villese is making a play for camels right now as well, in addition to the knights. On paper, Saracens are going to be better off compared to Mr. Yo's civilization because of the camels. They will have a counter for the knights. But once again, as we have stated a few times in the past, counter for knights, or at the very least, the camels are not going to be the hardest counter to knights. It's going to be more like a soft counter. So it doesn't really mean too much, especially if Mr. Yo does end up getting some relics. Villese, I do like to see that Villese has actually prioritized getting relics himself though. And he has managed to get 2 so far now. That's going to leave Mr. Yo to collect potentially up to 3 relics only. And you know what? Because Villese's got one of the relics inside the walls, that's going to make it possible for Mr. Yo to collect only 2 relics, the ones that are on his side of the map. And that means that he cannot really take advantage, he cannot really maximize the Lithuanian bonus for extra attack on Knights and Lychai. Second TC on the way now for Villese. They had to buy the stone for it. Second TC on the way for Mr. Yo. The red players got the resources to go for a 3rd TC, given the fact that he's gotten pushed away from the center and there is a forward siege workshop over here from Villese already. It'll be too risky for Mr. Yo to go for a TC around this area. So instead, I would like to see for Mr. Yo probably go for the TC around here, I guess. Most likely. Yeah, that'll be good. So that he can protect this. Potentially he could go also for the TC over here instead, closer to the gold. But I guess we're going to find out. Kind of funny to see Villese do well with knights in game 1 and 3, given how he is the archer guy in team games. Well, it's gotta pick a trick or 2 from the max, right? Beautiful push. He's going to end up getting the stable down over here, reducing Mr. Yo's production to only 1 stable. And you know what? I'm actually not really sure Mr. Yo's got an additional stable on the back over here. I think this might be the only one left. Yeah, just 1 stable left for Mr. Yo, and Villese, he's looking good. There we go. Nice. TC for Mr. Yo and Villese. Not just yet. He's been collecting some stone though. Not too heavily, but enough for him to go for a 30C, and for the time being it seems like Mr. Yo will be the one getting ahead. He's already managed to find himself on a 7 villager lead compared to Villese. The Bull player is not really putting any more pressure over here, and while I was expecting to see Mr. Yo go for the TC up in the north instead, he's decided to place it right next to the goal over here, which would make it very vulnerable to Vilese's siege push over here. when Villese eventually does end up making a play for mangonels or potentially rams or whatever. Good defense from Mr. Yo as well. How many monks do we have for the red player? At hand, he's got 3. He ended up collecting only 1 relic. Does he know about this one though? Oh, Mr. Yo doesn't know where the relic is! Because Villese has already collected 3, Mr. Yo is confined to 2 relics at most to increase the attack of his units, but he's not even sure. He doesn't even have vision of where the second relic is by taking a look at this. Needs to find out about it to increase the value of his units. Now he's got a defensive castle coming up, interestingly enough. At the same time as Villese is approaching with a mangonel, he's got crossbows, he's got camels. Good pressure. Mr. Yo cannot really get the castle up over here until he's able to push the mangonels at the very least away. He's bringing the pikeman though, trying to buy himself some time to potentially get the castle up, but that's a very good mango shot from Villese. And the conversion though from Mr. Yo, amazing, gets the mangonel over there, ends up getting one of the monks from Villese with the converted mangonel, and will end up getting the castle up over here, so that's pretty good. As we only saw 1 stable left for Mr. Yo, getting the castle over here doubles his production potential if he's going to start adding some light shade into the mix. On the right hand side, however, Villese still got more pressure coming up. He does end up getting about 4 or 5 villages over here. Might end up getting a few more over here, but it seems like Mr. Yo's TC is going to be enough to fend off the remaining knights from the bull player. Does Villese see the 5th relic? That's a great question. He does not! Neither player knows where the relic is. There's the 4TC coming up for Villese. He's got the 30C already on the back. 4TC on the way for Mr. Yo. While he was getting ahead in worker count earlier, the raids from Villese prevented Mr. Yo from getting too far ahead. And if you take a look at the worker count right now, it's actually looking better for the blue player by about 9 villages, by about 8 villages right now. 9 again. Wheelbarrow on the way. Mr. Yo is getting bloodlines instead. Husbandry. He already has gone for wheelbarrow earlier, so Villese is catching up right now. Beautiful conversions from the red player. And the conversions coming in from Villese as well. He does not get though. The light is now. Mr. Yo ends up getting the monks over there. He's going to end up getting yet another monk over here for sure. Well done. But he'll probably end up getting cleaned up in any case. University coming in for Villese for the crossbows to get ballistics, while Mr. Yo's got scale barden armor. He's sticking to light chain production. He's not even going for knights anymore, just light chain units. Second castle on the right hand side from Mr. Yo as well. And he keeps on collecting stones, so he might be able to go for a 3rd castle very soon. Now, one thing he might not have seen coming though is Villese's incredible uptime. He utilized the market quite heavily. He is playing with Saracens, so it does make sense. And after the Imperial Age, Villese goes, while Mr. Yo is not even close, not particularly close to having enough resources to click up to the Imperial Age. So one Villese gets there. He's gonna have trebuchets come out. He'll be able to start trapping the castles down from Mr. Yo. That might be the beginning of the end for the red player. By the way, guys, the other day I started listening to Don Carlin's Hardcore History podcast, and it's so good. I've enjoyed it so much. I've only listened to about 1 hour of one from 2015 called King of Kings, and it's so good. I'm very much looking forward to hearing some more of it. Conversion on the way now from Mr. Yo as well. Ah, he got the siege workshop. Hey, Mr. Yo finally collected the 5th relic. All 5 relics completely collected right now from both players, eh? Nice, so now the light chair over here a little bit stronger. They get 2 extra attack. Now this is about the minimum amount of relics you want to get as Lithuanians, because they do not get Blast Furnace. So by getting 2 additional relics, you do end up getting the +2 that you kind of miss out on in the Imperial Age. And if you do manage to find yourself on 3 or 4 relics collected, of course, that's going to boost you past what, like in Blast Furnace, or having Blast Furnace would have given you in any case. And yeah, Imperial Age is here for Villese, and Mr. Yo, not even close, man. He does not have enough military units right now, or the RBWL does not have a lead. Eco count's even higher for Villese still, despite the fact that he's 1 age higher. Yeah, Mr. Yo's raids over here do not seem to be going very well. Ends up losing most of the light chai. We have camels over here from Villese still left to work with. He's going to end up bailing over here because the HP is not the highest. So now Mr. Yo can get some villagers. There we go. Fantastic. And while the villagers go down on the left hand side though, from Villese, on the right hand side, he's got the trebuchet already, and check this out! Vilese's got a house wall coming up around the trebuchet to protect it. And Mr. Yo doesn't seem like he'll be able to do too much about this. There we go. A lot of light chai over here still for Mr. Yo, who's finally gonna manage to click up to the Imperial Age. Let's see if he can clean up the camels over here. For the most part, he's been able to push Villese away, so he could potentially turn around and try to go after the villagers, but Villese is pulling the villagers away already. Nice dive in from Mr. Yo, getting 1 trebuchet down though. Villese is still gonna keep on pumping more of these. He's got the means to do so, and the next trebuchet will increase pressure against this castle once again. So it seems Mr. Yo is on the way to lose this castle, and he's gonna be left on 2 only now. That decreases his production potential by 33%. His economy right now is not the best, but at the very least he's been able to get ahead in working count compared to Villese. But yeah, if he wants to go for a lot of military production over here, it's going to be extremely difficult given the amount of villagers, given the amount of workers he's got, especially the gold miners. So while he still has the castles up, he's not really able to mass too many units. Right now the bottleneck is production potential though, as he's got just 2 castles to produce from, and even though he's got the resources to go for more than just a couple of light chai in the queue, they're just not coming out fast enough. So Mr. Yo is kind of struggling to keep on putting pressure on the left hand side. We do have the rest of the units. He's got pikemen coming in, and at the very least the raids have been going Mr. Yo's way, as he does end up finding a few extra villagers over here. And so far throughout the game, Mr. Yo has been able to get 26 villagers compared to only 14 from Villese. Imperial Age is here for Mr. Yo, but the DC goes down. He's got 4 trebuchets, Villese, that is, to work with. Nice raid still. Compared to the chaos in the previous set, this one is quite chill. Well, for the time being, yes. This is not going down to a score win, for instance. But yeah, definitely, this is still up for grabs. Either player could potentially take this one, although Villese has got great momentum. Mr. Yo has gotten to the Imperial Age. He's got conscription right now. There's chemistry, there's a leather archer armor on the way. Nice raid stove from Mr. Yo again. Every time he's come forward, he's been able to find some villagers from Villese. The thing is though, population is a little bit higher for Villese right now. Actually, no, it's a little bit higher for Mr. Yo. It's really, really close though. But momentum is here for Villese for sure, despite the fact that Mr. Yo's got a higher score, despite the fact that Mr. Yo's gotten away with better trades, or with better raids overall. He's gotten a lot of extra villagers compared to Villese. He's gotten a higher KD overall. Villese's momentum over here could change the game in the split of a second. So we see an extra TC go down over there from Mr. Yo, leaving the red player on only 1 TC and 2 castles to defend himself. But meanwhile, Villese, his chill back home, kind of uncontested, and he's got 5 TCs to defend himself in addition to 2 castles. While Mr. Yo, well, he's left on just the 1 TC and the 2 castles we talked about earlier. He's going for an extra TC right now just to try and catch up, or at the very least to try and provide some protection to his economy, right? But Villese, if he's able to keep this pressure, should be able to overpower Mr. Yo. Stealing the relics though, that is great. From Villese, does end up getting 4 relics now in the end. The 5th relic is going to remain over here, and Mr. Yo's castle will provide protection to it. But yeah, it's kind of rough right now because once again, the lack of blast furnace means that you need the relics in order to offset for it, and you need not only 1, you need 2 relics at the very least, and Mr. Yo will only have access to 1 at this point in time. Let's take a look at the amount of resources available, especially gold, around the map. There's plenty to be had up in the north, on the right hand side as well. Mr. Yo is collecting from it. He's got some extra gold over here as well, and Villese is going to be fine as well in that regard. How about the year on the way for Mr. Yo as well? Villese is starting to get a more substantial lead though, with over 20 extra population compared to Mr. Yo. He's unpacking the trebuchets, wheeling up, taking the castle down by the looks of it. There is nothing from Mr. Yo to defend himself against this trap push. That's going to reduce him to 3 castles, which is higher actually than what he had before. But it's not ideal to be losing these units, of course. To be losing these buildings and to be losing on production potential. Nice defense from Villese. The camels are going down to the halberdier. Lightshire coming over to go right up against the trebuchet. Now the problem is though, I think the castle's crumbling anyway. 1 more volley with 3 trebuchets, then the castle's toast. So close. Mr. Yo is barely keeping the castle alive, but it's not going to be for too long. As the castle crumbles, now Villese can go after the 5th relic again and completely stripe Mr. Yo from his civilization bonus. Even 4 castles coming in for Villese over here, and the momentum for the Bull player is absolutely fantastic. Now there is a pause though. I can't imagine this is probably Mr. Yo pausing the game. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, and all the threats are still alive, for sure. Players are barely moving over the pause over there. Mansa on the way now for Villese as well. Getting some of the missing upgrades, while he keeps on pushing against Mr. Yo, who's managed to keep up with population for the most part, 180 or so for these guys. Another castle's gonna drop by the looks of it. Mr. Yo, once again, doesn't really have the means to protect it. And he's just made the transition to skirmishers and halberdier. He does not really have tower shields yet, Mr. Yo, that is. So these guys are not fully upgraded. Actually, you know what? He has gotten it, hasn't it? Yeah, he's gotten it. He's got tower shield. What am I on? Yes. He's gotten tower shield, so trash units from Mr. Yo, they are very tanky. However, it's not going to be enough though to push Villese away, and he does end up losing yet another castle. Now he's left on only 2 castles on the right hand side and the 2 TCs over here, so it's been very difficult for Mr. Yo to keep up. And Villese will probably end up losing the trebuchets over here, at the very least one of these. And he's gotta react to the skirmishers, he's gotta react to the halberdier. Can't understand how this game can still be kinda even, at least pop-wise. Yeah. By the way, I just realized that Jordan versus Shadow, the prediction was still without being paid. So I'm just going to pay out the prediction over here. That was for game number 4. There we go. Yeah, 1 trip alive for Villese still. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo's got Wing Hussar on the way. Vilese's army composition does not really vary widely compared to what we had before. He still has a heavy camel, skirm, and arbalester composition he had from before, and while he did get momentum in the past from this very army composition, doesn't seem like it's going to matter too much. Hussar's coming in right now for Villese as well. Orlet says that Villese has 5 trebuchets. Where are they? Okay, so he's got 3 on the right hand side. There's a Trevor happening currently, and then 2 on the left hand side for sure. Seems like Villese will be able to keep the castle up over here. He's gonna be left with all 3 trebuchets as well, so he'll be in a position to keep on putting pressure over here and getting the castle down. And we already saw that Mr. Yo has been losing fortifications for the longest part of the game. Now with the trebuchet out over here, Mr. Yo cannot really defend against the trebs from Villese anymore. Now this castle is most likely not going to drop. Meanwhile, there is a raid coming up in the north as Vilese's camels are roaming around getting some villagers down. Mr. Yo's villager count is going to drop a little bit, not too much. He's still on 200 population. And then on the left hand side, Mr. Yo's got a small group of winged hussar to utilize and go around raiding. Here we go. Beautiful. Vilese's raids, they're gonna keep on going. With the extra hussar on the right hand side, he has managed to get momentum. He does get the castle down over here from Mr. Yo again, but so far Mr. Yo has been able to hold on just fine, despite the fact that he's lost probably about 40% of his base throughout the game and he's had to rebuild everything. Villese cannot really seem to close the deal at all, and Mr. Yo, just with skirmishers, pushes Villese away from his base. Because the tower shield, the skirmishers over here do not really care about the castle, and you know what? It seems like Villese will end up just losing the castle over here, and Mr. Yo is going to survive a little bit longer. Yeah. It's going to leave Villese on 2 castles himself. Now let's see. Good raids from the Bull player. He's gotta be careful as he's facing Winged Hussar. Nice push from Mr. Yo. He's starting to get some momentum. Do you have any gold left for Mr. Yo? He is collecting up in the north, but it seems like Villese will get some good kills over here. Now, let's take a look. This is a lot of exposed economy from Mr. Yo. We're gonna keep an eye on Vilese's Hazard over here and see how long it takes for Mr. Yo. So he does realize about this and he reacts before it's too late. But the small group of Hazard will end up pushing villagers away from wood. Will end up pushing villagers away from gold towards TC, and we'll end up getting a bunch of villagers actually. So before the Hazard go down, they do end up getting about 15 villagers or so. And then on the right hand side, so he's been able to defend just fine against Vilese's push. He's got the TC coming up. He's going to secure this gold. There's only 540 left over there, so he's gotta try and find a different source of gold. I think there's another one up in the north somewhere. No, it seems like it's just that one on the right hand side, and then this one. That's the only gold that Mr. Yo's got available right now, so it's going to be 500 from this one. About, okay, 4,000 though between this one and some extra gold elsewhere. Where is the extra gold? I think it was probably the one on the left hand side. But yeah, from this one only, it's going to be about 1,600. So it's going to be a little bit more than 2k gold that Mr. Yo's got to work with still. And then he'll need to get map control elsewhere, because Villese, he's collecting gold from everywhere. And he's got a lot more map control to keep on collecting more as well. Beautiful. It's amazing though that Mr. Yo can keep on going like this. Probably needs to balance his economy a little bit so he can keep on going for more winged Hazard. Yeah, and you know what? He pushes Villese away successfully. And they're getting a few villages from Villese underneath the castle towards the southeast. Good defense for Villese so far. And the game's heating up. Here comes a big engagement right now. We have the bombard cannons over there, but the bombard cannons are going down right away to the arbalists. All three bombard cannons get completely sniped from Mr. Yo to Vilese's arbalists. And I want to take a look at how many arbalists we have left though, because I think Villese might have lost his entire arbalist army over there. He's got only 3 left, so it might not have been the most cost-effective trade for him. He did end up taking a lot of losses too, but he does buy himself some more time, as Mr. Yo was gaining some momentum over there. Fantastic. Villese is pushing back. We are getting close to 1 hour into the game. And still going strong. Villese definitely has the lead right now. He's in the driver's seat. He's got a much higher population. And a much higher score. So I don't think this is going to come down to score win. But it's amazing to see just how high quality the games are for the quarterfinals for, well, both series we have seen so far. And keep in mind that we still have more to go after this one. There are 2 more series to go for after this one is over. We are still about 20 minutes away from the time limit for game number 3 in what's going to be at the very least a 4-game series. Extra raids coming in around from Villese. He sends the Hazard up to the north. He's gonna get a lot of villagers. Mr. Yo's not paying attention, dropping under 100 villager count and losing all the villagers over here. Then on the right hand side, we'll see extra villagers going down from Mr. Yo to the Hazard from Villese. Yeah, and there are no counter rates coming out whatsoever, so Villese is in a very good spot. It's finally started getting some momentum back after getting pushed away earlier. It's going to be a 14-hour stream? Yeah. Most likely. Vilese's got right now, what is the name of this one? Madrasa, I think? No, counterweights. Oh, right. Madrasa actually got axed in it. So we have counterweights. What was counterweights? Again, actually, I don't remember the new technology for the Saracens. Let me take a look really quickly. So counterweights, we have 15% extra damage from trebuchets. I had completely forgotten about that upgrade, actually. Yes. Trebuchets and manga damage, I see. Yeah, and there we go. Mr. Yo does call the GG. As Villese gets game number 3, he gets the lead 2-1 against the red player. Well played for the finish. Let's take a look at the achievements before hopping back out. For military, we see a stronger KD for Villese by quite a bit. It's going to be about 5-4. And on top of that, for economy, we see a stronger economy for Villese, collecting about 12,000 extra resources. While for society, on the other hand, we see a higher worker count max for Villese. About 2 extra workers compared to Mr. Yo. But that's going to be about it. So let's go back and see what we have.
I'm Villese and I'm from Finland. I didn't have to play in the qualifier because I qualified by getting second place in the researcher tournament. Well, I didn't get the practice from the qualifiers, but that's not a problem because I could do practice with the players anyway. I prepared for Wololo Legacy by playing against a lot of different players and playing practice sets against them. I'm most feared to play against Leary because he has the great micro and he is the 2-time Red Bull Wololo champion. I'm confident against most players because I'm well prepared and ready to face most of them.
We have Mr. Yo playing with Bulgarians, we have Villese playing with Incas, and yeah, the game to the defeat's still going to keep on stuttering, so I'm just going to try and refresh this and potentially change the quality and bring it back down to about 720p. But anyway, game number 4 already starts on the Bull. Here we are. Hello. Is the player feed going to work at all? Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm just going to stay at 720p. I think it might have been the servers from Vimeo because that's what they were using for the clean feed, and it's not working really well for me, but it was working really well yesterday actually. I'm not really sure what changed, but for some of the other streamers today, it doesn't seem like there is a problem, so it seems to be probably the server that I'm ingesting this video feed from. So sorry about that, but the players are there. Hopefully it's not going to go out of sync too much anyway. So Bulgarians and Incas. Mr. Yo's got a market already on the way. We take a look at the right hand side, and Villese has got a market on the way as well. Both these players will try to play for the Castle Age. And not too much in terms of feudal aggression, although we do see some archers coming in from Villese, forcing a tower from Mr. Yo. And yeah, Mr. Yo should be able to get away with a tower over here, so most likely he'll be able to defend himself just fine. Unlike what we saw yesterday, this time around the map generation is pretty even for both these guys. If you take a look, they both have 4 golds. So it's not the case that one of the players is more easily pushed away from the goal compared to the other. Mr. Yo's banner animal is a tortoise. Yes, and he's got a... It's got a castle on top of it. for a shell. So it's a turtle with a castle for a shell. What was this ancient idea that the world was on top of 4 giant turtles on top of an elephant? Or was the other way around? I think it was the other way around. It was on top of 4 elephants on top of a giant turtle, right? I don't remember anymore, but kind of reminded me of it. The turtle is going to hold the weight of the world, or 1/4 of the world. I guess a castle is not going to be much of a challenge. Regardless, no damage coming in so far, and Villese is just going to click out to the castle age. Despite the fact that he was the one putting pressure, and this is really good though. Villese clicks up to the castle age in game number 4 over here, while being able to push Mr. Yo away from resources over here. You can see that the red player does not have access to this anymore. He has to go for the walls behind the palisade so that Villese doesn't just come in. And that's about it. Turtles all the way down. We have a little bit of pressure though coming in from Mr. Yo at the center. He gets 1 villager. It's going to be actually the 4th villager Mr. Yo has been able to get so far, and it's not going to be the last one. There's another villager going down over here. The quick walls from Villese were not fast enough. It seems like Mr. Yo might end up losing 1 villager over here, but you know what? So far, he's been able to get 6 villagers from Villese, so I'll tell you what. Mr. Yo is gonna take it. He doesn't care. This is a villager over here, but still has 6-1 eco KD. Manages to get ahead in working count quite a lot, and despite the fact that he's gotten only 5 additional kills, he is ahead already by 11 workers because of the castle age coming up for Villese. Speaking of which, Mr. Yo does not seem to have enough resources or anywhere near enough resources to go out to the castle age himself yet. Although he's working towards that. He does have a lot of fishing ships on the left-hand side. I think he does have more compared to Villese, right? Yeah, Villese, as a matter of fact, has not gone for fishing ships whatsoever. Just tried to prioritize going up to the next stage now that he's there. What is he going to do? That's the question, though, because he got the walls up on the right-hand side, but he does not prevent Mr. Yo from getting to the center, as Mr. Yo already has units at the center, right? He's sending a villager over here still. And because Villese has not chopped through yet, he cannot go for a second TC, and by the time he does manage to chop through and come in, potentially go for a second TC, Mr. Yo should already be significantly closer to the castle age himself, and then the lead that Villese has been able to get so far is gonna be kinda gone. Even if we see him chop through right now and go for a TC right now, Mr. Yo should still be able to keep up at the very least with villager count, and then potentially once he gets to the castle age even go for extra TCs himself or start getting the raids going. Like, the game's still very much favorable Mr. Yo, that's what I'm trying to say. And Villese on the other hand, well, there's a lot of catching up to do over here for him. It's got lingers though, interesting to see. We have pikemen over here from Villese as well. And so far, the player hasn't been able to do too much with his military. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo, he's got 2 barracks at the center. He's collecting stone quite heavily with 11 villagers, so we'll see a castle come up at the center very soon. Should take but 3 minutes for him to get enough stone for a castle. Villese is going for the second TC finally now. He doesn't really have the resources to go for a third TC just yet, but once he does get enough resources, where do we want to see the TC come up for the blue player? He could potentially go for one over here, perhaps. Could potentially go for the TC over here instead. Try to protect that gold. Could be. It's gonna try and prevent Mr. Yo from getting his own TC up, but doesn't seem like it's going to be the case. Doesn't seem like it's going to be possible for Villese, that is. Nice picks over here though. Mr. Yo doesn't get getting 2 monks over here. I don't think he took a single loss to the monks in terms of potential conversions. Now, 3 villagers do go down, trying to get the TC up over here. Mr. Yo still leading the game in terms of eco KDE, and he's still competitive in worker count. Actually, he does have the 30C on the way down south, while Villese has got the 30C on the way up in the north, and the villager count is actually 1 higher for Mr. Yo right now, or the worker count. Overall, not the villager count, of course, which is also going to include fishing ships. Crepos on the way for Mr. Yo. No castle, just Crepos. Given how heavily Mr. Yo was collecting stone, I thought it was going to go for a castle, but no. Well, with 2 TCs, he's only going to be able to afford the Crepos for the same resources. Would have been able to go for the castle or close to it. So I guess that makes sense for the same amount of stone or so. So I guess that that does make sense.
Okay.
Beautiful. That's a lot of pressure coming in from Villese, but so far he hasn't really gotten too much out of it. Mr. Yo, well, Mr. Yo, he's certainly struggling in terms of military production though, but he's been prioritizing economy instead. Thing is, Mr. Yo doesn't really have an economy lead over Villese at this point in time. It was the case before, but not anymore, and Villese does have remaining military units from before, while Mr. Yo is kind of exposed. So if we saw a siege workshop come out from Villese, right? Let's say a siege workshop coming out from the Bull player, probably about here, right? He destroys the barracks and he goes for the siege workshop. That'll put Mr. Yo in a very precarious position. He doesn't even need to be this aggressive. He could potentially go for 1 over here and just put pressure from here, right? There is some pressure coming up from Mr. Yo up in the north though. He manages to get a Crepos. He ranges Vilese's DC. So this is pretty good. Mr. Yo's got some lone swords. He's got Conics on the way as well. Very interesting to see, because the TC over here cannot really provide protection to the villagers. He can find a few villager picks, but Villese is only going to lose 4 villagers. Notice that he did not really go for any extra vills from this TC. So while Mr. Yo does manage to get some good damage over here, and that's going to be 4 villagers going down, which Villese seems to be just ignoring. Is not too much damage still. Yeah, Villese is most likely going to lose the TC before the wheelbarrow finishes researching over there. So he cancelled it. He cancels it. He goes for Town Watch. Try to get whatever value he can out of the TC, and now even the university is on the way for Villese. If Mr. Yo ends up destroying the TC here, he could potentially go for 1 himself. And getting 1 about here will be about... Oops. Getting 1 about here will be pretty good for Mr. Yo. He will be able to collect so much from these spawns. You gotta keep in mind that these are shorefish for showcase, so not there, so, but probably over here, basically where Villese had it. There is so much shorefish over there that is definitely worth considering for Mr. Yo. Even if he's already collecting with a mill, going for an extra TC will allow him to start pulling a stronger lead in villager count. He does have the Imperial Age on the way, but so does Villese though, and the game heats up. Castle on the way for Villese on the right hand side, and Mr. Yo. Mr. Yo's got 7 stone miners, but he's got the 4 TC coming up on the left. Try and secure some of the gold instead. Yeah, Mr. Yo can't really do anything over here, ends up just deleting all the units. Not to hand over to Villese free army. And down the south, we don't really have too much over here to speak of. we go. Nice pressure still. Well done. Castle's on the way now for Mr. Yo as well, and that's a lot of slingers, that's a lot of monks coming over. Village is here already. For Villese, Mr. Yo is only a few seconds later, but not too much. And this castle is coming in at a cost though. A bunch of villages are taking a lot of HP losses over here, and many of these villages will start crumbling very soon to the slingers. But in the end, Mr. Yo should be able to get the castle up, especially as now Krepos pushes the slingers away. We see Bracer coming in, which is going to increase the range of the castle and the Krepos. There we go. And University on the way for Mr. Yo so that he can go for Chemistry. Just on the way from both these guys. Beautiful. A great push. Once again, the map is, you can just cut it, you can just slice it through the center, and we have everything from Villese on the right hand side, everything from Mr. Yo. They have still not gone through the center over to the other side in terms of going for buildings and putting too much pressure. So if you take a look at the minimap over here, it kind of looks like the bull is kind of droopy. And it's got the crazy eyes. Villese really needs to win this one. My bedtime is approaching quite quickly. I don't know about that. I imagine that's probably not what the Chinese viewers on Mr. Yo's streams are thinking. On Mr. Yo's stream are thinking, but anyway, we do have 3 trebuchets over here from Villese, with the 4th one unpacking. Actually, 5 trebuchets from Villese. There's no way for Mr. Yo to keep the castle up over here for long enough. So the castle's going down in a moment, and Mr. Yo's trebuchet count is nowhere near as strong, and the castle crumbles! That's the castle he was producing the 3rd trebuchet from, so that one is even going to get denied. And now, Villese is coming in. He's got twice the military count compared to Mr. Yo. He's got not quite as many villagers, but with the military lead that he's got, he might be able to get some momentum over here. So we'll take a look. 5 trebuchets going after the trebuchets from Mr. Yo. Doesn't end up getting one. Shouldn't be too difficult for him to get the other one as well. It's going to be a little bit of a lucky strike, but Villese should still be able to do it. He's got the tools to do that with. Here we go. Looking really good. Villese was kind of getting ready over here, but was able to react on time. He's got the halberdier coming over, and Mr. Yo cannot really do too much over there, so he ends up getting cleaned up. And then at the center, they are still just trading blows. Mr. Yo's got plenty of skirmishes over here. Obviously, that's not going to take the trebuchets down, so he needs something else. And Villese's got slingers. He's got skirmishers himself. He's going for the onager upgrade. Very soon the trebuchet is gonna crumble over here from the red player as well. So Mr. Yo is going for a cap ram. Let's see. He can do much of anything. Beautiful. Mr. Yo does manage to push Vilese's trebuchets away, but Villese does not lose the trip still and holds on to the castle, so the game is still very even. Overall population favors Villese, especially military count, but because of the higher worker count, Mr. Yo is able to keep up with the overall population over here, and very soon it's gonna have resources to go for yet another castle. Now I gotta wonder though, where's that castle going to be located? We already saw the one at the center over here get taken down, and the problem is that whatever castle he goes for, if it gets spotted by Villese, Villese is going to have the tools to take it down like extremely quickly. With 6 trebuchet, the castle is not going to stay up for too long. So if Mysterio is going to go for a castle, he's got to go for a castle elsewhere. Now, he's got stirrups coming in, so that's going to be faster attacking cavalry. He's got light cavalry on the way. We'll see if he can make this work. There's only a few slingers over here. For the most part, it's going to be skirmishes from Villese. The halberdier are showing through right now as well from the Bull player though, so he might be able to use this to defend against the light cavalry, but many of these will go straight to the back of Vilese's economy from Mr. Yo. He's got about 4 light cavalry coming in. We'll see if he can do any damage. Should be able to. Faster attacking upgrade. The light cavalry will be very, very deadly. There you go. Yes, sir. Villese gets pushed away from here. We start seeing Bull players starting to send some units over to the other side. Now that Villese has got the onagers, he's feeling a lot more confident reaching into Mr. Yo's half of the map. Trebuchets still up. Pretty high HP as well. He can go forward and just do whatever he wants. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo seems to be thinking of a skirmisher raid against Villese, by the looks of it. Well, he's got archer ranges, and then he's got a stable as well. Unless he's thinking of going for cavalry archers. I don't think so, that's going to be the way. But yeah, probably not going to happen. Zar's coming in for Mr. Yo. Absolutely crucial upgrade after having gone for stirrups. Will make the raids a lot more lethal. Problem though is the military count for Mr. Yo is just not good enough. Villese has managed to surpass Mr. Yo in population by about 20, and very soon is gonna be pushing 200 population, while Mr. Yo instead is just been struggling to keep momentum over here. Incas are not a civilization that I would say are particularly amazing in the later stages of the game compared to something like, you know, Lithuanians, Franks, potentially maybe even Hindustanis or something like Bohemians, right? But it's still going to be pretty good, especially with the momentum that Villese has got going over here. He's kind of offsetting for the fact that he does not get access to bombard cannons by going full trebuchet, and so far he's been able to take care of these units extremely well and keep them up. Going close to losing some, but never actually quite losing the traps. Plus he's got onager, so that's going to counter whatever range units Mr. Yo might be thinking of going into. And then he's got the halberdier, right? So that's going to counter cavalry as well. And Mr. Yo doesn't seem like he's going to have too many choices to counter Villese with. At all. Now the TC is crumbling from Mr. Yo and Villese. He's got some meters over here still to work with. Might be able to get the raids going. If he can get some villages down over here, that could reduce Mr. Yo's population by a 20 or so count. Villese would build on his lead even further. This could be really good. Now Mr. Yo has also a little bit of pressure coming up in the north, but notice he's targeting a market over here. There's nowhere near enough damage going on from Mr. Yo's units over there compared to Vilese's push on the left hand side. And yeah, Mr. Yo will end up losing a lot of villagers over here. Will end up dropping in population. Now Villese is approaching a 30 population lead very soon. It's 20 right now, close to it. A little bit higher, a little bit lower. Fluctuates by the second. Down the south, we do have a trebuchet over here left from Mr. Yo, but it's unlikely he'll be able to do too much. He did end up getting 1 trebuchet from Villese, but that's about it. There we go. Krepos goes down from Mr. Yo. Now, Villese could potentially lose the Trebuchet over here. I don't think it's going to matter. He already got the Krepos down. That's what Mr. Yo was kind of banking on to defend this side of his economy, right? So if Villese starts sending some units down the south, he'll be able to get a bunch of villagers completely exposed from Mr. Yo. Mr. Yo, on the other hand, instead goes for a castle on the left-hand side. Exactly where the TC was before. And still, momentum is not there for Mr. Yo anywhere still. While Villese, on the other hand, he's bringing the halberdier. He's going for it. He's got the conic. He's got skirmishers, or the one skirmisher, and Mr. Yo. You know, it might not look like an extremely deadly army from Villese, but Mr. Yo's got 29 villages over here without a single fortification or a single military unit to protect them against this push. So Villese's meager military might still be enough for him to end up collecting all of this and pushing a stronger lead. And you can take a look, he already is looking so much stronger. 184 to 128 population for Villese and for Mr. Yo! The Finnish legend! He's doing it! He's taking all the villages down the south towards the right hand side. Ends up pushing Mr. Yo away from the goal on the left hand side. Then 200 population for Villese. Mr. Yo dropping to less than 100 villagers. 124 population. And the momentum that Villese has been able to find over here is just amazing. He's got the trebuchet still, 4 trebs over here, great numbers. Should very easily be able to get the castle down for sure before Mr. Yo is able to get one of the trebuchets down, at the very least. Before Mr. Yo is able to prevent the trebuchets from taking the castle down in any case. Yeah, and take a look at this. Mr. Yo is also ignoring the trebs and going after the castle from Villese. But the problem is, even if Villese loses the castle over here, this does not really expose any of his economy. While Mr. Yo, he does not lose the castle, and this exposes a lot of his economy once the castle drops over there. Now that he lost the castle, there's a lot of villagers over here. He'll be only protected with 200 swordsmen, not even champion. And yeah, the Hazara over here are probably not going to be strong enough now that Villese started to bring some halberdier over, and especially because he was able to keep the castle up. So we have great momentum for Villese, and Mr. Yo! He calls it GG, says GG, congratulations. As Villese takes game number 4, he moves on to the semi-finals. Well, Mr. Yo gets knocked out of the tournament. In the quarterfinals, you can see the expression on Mr. Yo's face over there and the relief in Villese's face. Fantastic, let's go and take a look at the achievements really quickly before going back. What do we get? A very nice KD for Villese, about 6 to 5. For the economy, a stronger economy for Mr. Yo. For society, a higher worker max count for Villese, and then a higher villager count towards the end of the game. He ended up losing about 33 villages, but Mr. Yo ended up losing about 59. So let's go back.
Yes, indeed, here with Villese. Congratulations, our second semi-finalist, Villese. A huge win for you, 3-1 against Mr. Yo, and what a performance you put on. I mean, mate, you impressed us all so much throughout today when you were playing earlier. You seem to really be at the top of your game at the moment. Do you feel the same way?
Thanks, and this is indeed a huge win for me, so I agree that I'm in my best shape ever.
It's really good to see you have that confidence, particularly, you know, under the bright lights of the feature match area with thousands of people watching on. You've kept your cool, and it's an incredible achievement to have got as far as you have. Let's talk about the games that you've just played here, in particular the last one that we just saw. How important for you was it to contest that centre area? The Bull is a weird map. What's your approach to success on that particular map on the Bull?
Yeah, the golden stone is in the middle, so it's very important, but yeah, so getting it is a priority, at least in the Imperial Age, because in Castle Age I can't really push against the Kreposts.
Well, we saw your eco throughout the entire set really do a huge amount of favours. It was really, really strong eco game in game number 1 with the Franks, game number 3 with the Saracens. Do you think it was your eco that won you those games, or was there something else going on as well?
Yeah, in the first game I think the Franks eco won me that one. In the Saracens game, I guess it was eco and getting good race in his eco, so I could keep putting the pressure on.
And the eco enabled you to push to imp very fast and get those upgrades as well. It was a terrific game to watch. I want to talk to you about what's next for you now. We've got more or less a week until you'll be playing in front of a live studio audience as we move to Saturday when the semi-finals will be held. What are you going to do between now and then to prepare for probably the biggest game of your life?
I guess I will just relax here in the city and practice some, but I think I'm mostly in good shape.
Villese, can I tell you, mate, it is really, really good to see the confidence and your comfort when you're playing like this. It's something that I think you've really impressed a lot of people with. So congratulations, a really, really well-deserved victory. Well done, Villese, our semi-finalist.